Durga has a question for us. Editing skills, give some pointers and advice to help build quality. Okay, so editing skills. The way you edit your show will set a specific level of quality. We're talking about those 3 levers, right? Quality lever. You've got good microphones, you're good. The next part is editing. If you can edit your show in a way that takes out, 1, the ums and the ahs, the delivery of your voice. There are things in your delivery that you can't edit out. Your enunciation, the way that you present words, how you inflect, how you raise your voice when it's important and lower your voice when you're really trying to make a point. Things like that. That takes practice. You can't edit that stuff out, but you can edit out long pauses and you can edit out the ums and uhs. And over time, by specifically going through and spending the time on the podcast to edit those things out, you're going to realize how annoying that is and how much time that takes. And you will learn to practice not saying ums and uhs and leaving empty spaces. It's something that takes a lot of time and a lot of practice, but you can totally do. So tip 1, listen back through everything, remove the ums and the uhs, right? You'll get better at it. Tip 2, when it comes to editing, you want to make sure that your delivery of the content on the show flows and makes sense, and that some things blend together and some things have distinct cuts. This is what I mean. So, for example, if you have intro music, and if you listen to any of my shows, not all of them, but if you listen to something like the Fallout Lorecast and the Elder Scrolls Lorecast, there's the intro section, there's the music, the announcement of the name of the show comes at a climax in the music, so it sounds important. Then there's my voice explaining in 1 sentence exactly what the show is about. So if it's your first time listening, you know, oh, this is what I'm getting. And then the music trails off and I create a decline in the music that looks kind of like a ramp down. And about halfway down that ramp is where I insert myself saying the first thing that I'm going to say in the first actual section of the content of the show. Whether that's a, hey, welcome everybody, or that's I'm doing like a cold open and I'm getting right into the topic because it's a cool topic. You know, sometimes I'll put the intro stuff later, where I actually introduce myself as myself. And Durka follows up here with, how long should the music be? An intro for your podcast should be at the most like 10-15 seconds long. People want to get to the content. You don't need to rock out with a whole 3-minute song at the beginning. They're not interested in listening to a 3-minute song. They're interested in hearing what you have to say about that episode, especially after they listen to like 50, 100 of the same podcast episodes. They've heard that intro how many times? They're going to skip over it. So be succinct, put the music in, fade it out. Some podcasts like to play music behind all the talking, like I'm doing right now. I've got some music playing in the background as I talk to you guys. This works better on Twitch. This is a Twitch thing because it helps fill the empty space. On a podcast, the whole focus is your voice, and your voice should constantly be going when talking and sharing things and the clips that you're putting in the show. So you don't need music behind it necessarily. If you do put music or something behind your voice, make sure it's very low. I would drop it to, here, I'm going to play with the levels here. I would drop it to a level of about like this. You guys can probably barely hear it right now. What's funny is, and I just realized this, I'm going to take this audio from this episode and I'm going to upload it as the podcast version of this episode. And it's going to have music behind it the whole time because I didn't think about that when I set up the Twitch feed. So, oh man. So the irony here is amazing. Great irony. I'm going to turn it down a little bit for the rest of the show. Very good question. Other pointers to editing. Learn to use the tools. Learn to use the tools. Learn to use cuts, drags, blends. Like I mentioned earlier, there are a ton of really, really good tutorial videos out there. So if you have a question about how to do something, look it up. And if you're still kind of new to the editing process, look up a general how-to guide for podcasters. In fact, I should put one together. I think that would be really, really helpful. So look that up. Spend your time in your extra time, on your downtime at work, at lunch, when you're sitting on your phone, in the evenings, if you're just laying in your bed trying to get to sleep and you're just on your phone or whatever, use that time. There's lots of in-between time in your day to learn something else, to stick it into your brain in order to, use it later.